my beloved child. Once again, a letter from me, the one who saw you before you were formed in your mother's womb. Again, I write to you not with a voice of accusation nor with burdensome commands, but with the heart of a father whose love never wearies. I come as I have always come, not with noise, not with haste. I come to you gently like an evening breeze, yet also as powerfully as waves crashing against the rocks to remind you that you are never alone in this vast world. I know you haven't paused in a long time. Your life has been moving at the speed of a train rushing downhill, hurried, cramped, and at times even you are unsure of where it's going. You are caught in the endless rhythm of responsibilities, expectations, worries, and sometimes fear. I know this well, for I have walked with you every step of the way, even in the moments when you thought I had abandoned you. But I have never taken my eyes off you, not once. Today I write this letter to tell you something you rarely allow yourself to hear. Stop, just for a moment. Not because you are wrong, not because you've failed, but because it is in the stillness that you will begin to hear me. Can you hear it? Amid the noise and the whispers from the world outside, there is a small but persistent sound. It is my voice calling you home. Home to yourself, home to life, home to me. You may be thinking, why today? Why not tomorrow? When I have more time, when I'm more stable, stronger. But my child, if not today, then when I don't wait for you to become perfect before I come right into the chaos, right into your weakness, right into the moments when you are confused, broken, drained, and don't know what to hold on to. That is when I draw closer than ever before. You've grown used to running from pain, from truth, even from yourself. You fill the emptiness with fleeting things, social media work, busyness, shallow conversations. I do not blame you. But today I invite you to lay it all down just for a while so you can return to the deepest part of your soul where I am waiting for you with patience and love that never runs out. Stopping is not failure. It is an invitation to enter real life. Stop to breathe. Stop to cry if you must. Stop so you no longer have to pretend you're okay while your heart is bleeding. Stop so you can hear me, not through grand sermons but through the sacred silence between you and me. For it is only in stillness that the soul can hear the voice of heaven. My beloved child, if you've been asking for a sign, this is it. These words are no accident. This is the answer to the nights you whispered through tears, to the moments you said, Lord, if you're listening, give me something. Let me know I'm not alone. Then hear me now. This very moment is my reply. Open your heart. Believe that something is beginning to shift right as you read these words. You don't have to do anything, just believe. I see the storms of anxiety swirling around you, the pressure to meet expectations, the exhaustion of always being strong. You've tried so hard, run so far, and now you don't even know what you're searching for anymore. But hear me, you don't need to run anymore. I'm standing right in front of you, my hand outstretched, saying, stop, that's enough, come to me. Not to be judged, but to be loved. I see you, truly see you, not just the version of yourself you present to the world, but everything you carry inside, the old wounds, the present weariness, and the quiet dreams still sleeping in your heart. I see it all, and I still love you. Not less, not conditionally, not because you perform well, but because you are mine. And that is a truth no one can take from you. So today, my beloved one, I ask you to stop. Just long enough to hear me. Long enough for me to heal. Long enough for you to remember who called you by name before anyone else even knew you existed. Long enough to realize that in this seemingly directionless life, I am still the compass that never fails. Can you feel it? Something is stirring inside you. Something real, not a passing emotion, but a deep invitation from the one who crafted your soul. I am doing a new thing, and if your heart still believes, then whisper just one simple phrase, I need you. That is enough. No elaborate prayers, just a sincere heart. Because today, blessing awaits you. Not some distant, vague promise, but true peace, real love, living hope, beginning the moment you choose to stop. My beloved child, there are times when you walk without knowing where you're going. Each day passes like a repeated routine, and you are swept away by the currents of life without letting your soul breathe. I see you trying to control everything, always in motion, yet feeling empty and restless inside. You're alive, but are you truly present in each breath? I ask not to rebuke you, but to help you look deeper within. Amid all the noise, maybe what you lack is not more advice, but a pause. I invite you into that pause, not to retreat, but to return, because only in stillness can you hear the gentlest voice, mine. Stop, my child. Don't rush anymore. Don't run to prove yourself or to escape the past, or even to numb what weighs on your heart. I know silence can be scary. It exposes loneliness, unresolved thoughts, and the questions you've been avoiding. But only when you dare to stop to face me and sit in my presence will your healing truly begin. Just like a clear spring reveals itself only when the water is still, your soul needs quiet to see that I have always been there. Let me calm the chaos in your mind. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10, not a harsh command, but a loving invitation. My beloved, do not think that stopping is defeat. The world teaches you to keep moving, to never be weak, to never pause. But in my kingdom, stopping is not delay, it is readiness. Readiness to listen, to understand, to open your heart to me. Like the sower who doesn't sow endlessly but must stop to look up at the sky, you too need moments to pause and see the direction I give. When you're no longer distracted by busyness, you will notice the things you once overlooked. My loving gaze, my peaceful warmth, and the quiet life flowing within you. To stop is to receive. There was a time I whispered to you, but you didn't hear. Not because I didn't speak, but because your heart was too loud. I don't compete with noise. I don't force you to be quiet. I wait. I stand there like sunlight, patiently shining on a closed room. Just open the door, I will come in. Just stop, I will speak. As the Buddha's teaching says, when the mind is still, the way arises. When the mind is chaotic, blessings struggle to grow. No matter the path, truth needs silence to take root. And I, your God, need your heart to be still so. My word can become the light that leads you. My child, I do not need you to be busy to prove your faithfulness. What moves my heart is not perfect plans or grand success. What I treasure most is the moment you sit down and say, Lord, here I am. No eloquence needed, no long speeches, just a sincere heart. To stop is not just physical stillness, it is spiritual surrender. When you no longer try to control everything on your own, you will begin to see how I have been quietly working on your behalf. Even your breath is a gift. Pause and feel that truth. Do you remember the time you felt lost and asked for a sign? You thought I was silent. But today, as you read these words, this is the sign. Not in thunder or storm, but in the gentle whisper of my spirit. Maybe you still doubt, but faith doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be honest. When you stop and say, I don't know, but I want to believe, that is already a beginning. I do not ignore even a faint breath or a fragile longing. I have been and still am quietly creating something new in your heart. So today, my beloved child, let this be a turning point. Not a grand gesture, but simply a moment when you choose to sit with me. Let me lift the burden from your shoulders. Let me show you that it's not more that you need to do, but more that you need to receive. A soul that knows how to pause is a soul ready to be filled. And I, the one who began a good work in you, will not abandon it. I will complete it, little by little, day by day, as you choose to rest in me. My child, you were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your own. I see you every day busy, tense, and sometimes nearly collapsing inside. Though you still smile, still appear strong. You think that if you stop, if you loosen your grip, everything will fall apart. But my precious one, I never placed that burden on you to bear alone. The things you are striving to carry, expectations, failures, lost responsibilities, have pressed upon your tender heart for too long. I did not create you to run endlessly. I designed you to live in rhythm with my presence. Know that in my eyes it is not your ability to carry everything, but your willingness to depend on me that is truly precious. You have grown used to living as though you must hold everything together. You must be capable and control, and keep up the image of being fine, even while exhaustion weighs on your soul. Have you ever felt like a room filled with heavy suitcases, each one packed with things you're afraid to open? unforgiven failures, responsibilities you've taken on for others, memories you can't bear to revisit. My child, I never asked you to live that way. I do not bless self-reliance. I invite surrender. There is a promise you once heard but may have forgotten. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 1:1-8. You don't need to prove anything to me. I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. Not a single drop of your sweat escapes my notice. Not one sigh goes unheard. I love you, not for what you do, but for who you are. The greatest weight is not work or hardship. It is the belief that you must handle it all alone, that you are not allowed to be weak. But my child, there is a kind of courage you have not yet learned, the courage to rely, to trust, to yield. I am standing beside you, arms outstretched, not to demand, but to uphold you. You are afraid that if you let go, everything will fall apart. I understand. I see you holding tightly to what is already cracked, terrified that without your grip it will shatter. But what you don't realize is this: some things are only truly saved when you release them. Some relationships you've tried to rescue have only left you more wounded. Some responsibilities you've accepted were never yours to begin with. Your hands are too full to receive something new. So I invite you to lay it down. Not everything, but the things that were never from me. Not everything you're holding is a holy burden. You think surrender is failure, but in my kingdom, it is victory. Victory is not found in tearless eyes or unshaken hearts. It is found when you know how much you need me, when you stop fighting your limits and instead yield in faith, when you choose to let me carry the part you cannot bear. Do you remember I, the one who bore the cross, also carried a great weight, but never alone? An angel came to strengthen me in the Garden of Gethsemane. And you too will never be alone. Let your heart open and let me come in. Not to scold, but to comfort. Not to command, but to share. You are not weak because you need help. You are strong because you dare to be open. The world praises independence, but in my kingdom, dependence on me is the way to peace. True strength does not come from sheer willpower, but from grace. When you exhale a single prayer, when you simply whisper, "Lord, I can't do this anymore," that is when I move. I never asked you to keep everything balanced all the time. I want you to learn how to rest your head on my shoulder. You don't need to strive to live well. You need to dwell in me to live right. I never promised the journey would be easy, but I promised you would never carry the burden alone. I send people beside you. I use someone's words to comfort you. I stir a prompting in someone's heart to pray for you in your weakest hour. But first, I want you to recognize that I am here. Not distant, not vague, not abstract, but present, right here in this very moment. And if something stirs within your soul, know that it is me reminding you, my child, I see you, and I have not abandoned you. So today, my beloved, pause and lay down that burden. Not every weight will fall away instantly, but step by step I will help you unravel it, one layer at a time. Walk with me, and you will find yourself lighter, breathing easier, and living more truly. When you stop trying to be okay just to please others, you will begin to live like a child who is loved without condition. The burden does not define you. I do, and I have shaped you in the image of peace, light, and freedom. You need only remain in me, and I will remain with you to the very end. My beloved child, I know there have been nights when you cried and no one knew. The lights were out, all was quiet outside, but inside you a storm was raging. You whispered prayers, not in clear words, but in sighs, in tears, in choking silence. There are pains you cannot name, and all you could do was lift your eyes and ask God, "Do you hear me?" You thought your cries were small, hopeless, lost into the air. But you were wrong. I hear. And not a single word of yours has fallen without being held by me. You don't realize that your tears have a voice. Each drop I gather. No prayer of yours is forgotten, no matter how faint or uncertain. Even when you're unsure whether you're praying at all, I still know. For I don't just hear your voice, I hear the beating of your heart. In those moments when you stare into nothing and whisper, "I can't do this anymore," I am there. Not standing far off watching, but sitting beside you, wrapping you in my gentle presence. There are things you cannot share with anyone, but you can place them into my hands, and once you do, you will never be forgotten. Do you think I am a father who is indifferent? A true father never overlooks the pain in his child's eyes. How much more would I not turn away? You don't have to pray the right words or say it perfectly or spiritually for me to listen. You only need to be honest. Just one sigh in faith. I've seen it. Just one tear of surrender. I know it. Scripture says golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of the saints. Revelation 5:8. My child, your prayers, whether fragile or silent, are treasured like incense in heaven. Do not think my delay is silence. Some prayers need time to bear fruit. I never reject your petitions. I only wait for the right moment. I know what is best, and when you are ready to receive it. Just as a seed must be buried in darkness before it sprouts, your prayers too are in that process. Do not doubt simply because you do not yet see. I am working, quietly but unceasingly. Even when you feel most abandoned, I am creating something new you have yet to imagine. I do not measure your prayers by hours or eloquence. I look at your heart. Sometimes the most powerful prayer is the smallest cry, God help me, or just a glance upward on a desperate day. I once saw you sitting in your car gripping the steering wheel, holding back tears. I saw you look at the sky speechless, and I answered, not the way you expected, but the way you needed. I sent you a peace that words cannot explain, a quiet release, a spark of hope glowing faintly in your heart. That too is a miracle, is it not? Do you remember Hannah, the childless woman who wept in the temple? She didn't pray aloud, her lips merely moved. People thought she was drunk. But I saw, I heard, and I answered. For I do not look at outward appearances, I look at the heart. I gave her a son, Samuel, who later became a great prophet among my people, and today you are no different. Even if your prayer is broken, just sobs too deep for words, I am listening. And one day you will see the tears you cry today will turn into songs of praise. So do not hesitate to come to me even when you have no words to say. Prayer is not a forced ritual. It is the thread that binds me to you. It is not a speech, but a conversation of love. You may not know how to begin. That's okay. Just come as a child returns to their father. Let your heart speak, let your tears express what words cannot, and let me respond with my steadfast, unshakable presence. Even if others turn away, I will not. Even when the world fails to understand, I always do. And not a single tear of yours will fall in vain. You know some prayers are not answered in the way you want, but they are answered in the way you truly need. Sometimes I don't open the door you're knocking on, not because I don't love you, but because what lies behind that door is not meant for you. I have seen the future, seen the turns and paths you cannot yet perceive. There are things you ask for that, if given, would draw you further from me instead of closer. Because I love you, I sometimes choose silence for a time to protect you from what you don't yet understand. Don't fear my silence. In it, I am embracing you with patience, keeping you safe for something better you cannot yet see. Delay is not denial, it is a loving preparation. Keep praying even when your heart feels empty. Don't wait until you feel spiritual or ready to come to me. Just come with tear-stained eyes, with a weary soul, with a doubting heart. It is in those raw, honest moments that you are closest to me. I do not wait for you to become good before I listen. I listen to help you rise, to heal, to move forward. Every time you whisper, Father, even in silence, heaven still listens. I know you, I understand you, and I love you, not based on your words, but on the love I had for you before you even knew my name, my beloved child. I know you often feel you must manage everything on your own. You wrestle with plans, decisions, and silent anxieties you dare not share. Deep down, you wish something would change, but you're afraid to surrender. You fear losing control, fear letting me lead you into a place you cannot fully see. But child, true transformation doesn't begin with striving, it begins with surrender. When you release your grip, you find real freedom. It is not giving up, it is beginning anew with me as your guide. You were taught to be strong, to be independent, to decide quickly. But you didn't realize that sometimes the greatest strength is in stopping to say, Lord, I don't know, but I trust you. It is in surrender that your soul opens for me to enter. When you steer on your own, you reach only the limits of human strength. But when you hand me the wheel, I will take you places you never dared to dream. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. You don't have to understand it all or see it all, just believe that I am enough. You may be carrying unfulfilled dreams, unfinished plans. You've tried everything you knew to do, yet still feel empty, disappointed, lost. You wonder, why isn't anything working out the way I hoped? But child, I don't just want to give you what is good, I want to give you what is best. And sometimes the best only comes when you dare to step back, to let go of what you think you must control. You surrender, not because I need it, but because your soul needs rest in my hands. I know you're afraid of losing yourself in surrender. You fear that if you give me everything, you'll become small, weak, without say. But don't you see, I didn't come to control you, I came to set you free. Surrender doesn't erase you, it makes you fully alive as I created you to be. Just like a seed must vanish into the earth before it becomes a tree, you too must yield yourself to me to grow in the way I designed. Without surrender, there is no transformation. Without trust, there is no real forward motion. There are places in your heart you've never let me touch. You say you trust me, but still hold back dark corners, things you think I won't understand or will ask you to give up. But child, I don't come to expose your faults. I come to lift your burdens. What I want is not the performance of a perfect faith, but the presence of an honest heart. All I need is for you to say, I am not enough, but I am willing for you to be enough for me. That is where true change begins. I do not wait for you to fix yourself. I want to enter into the process and walk it with you. You've tried walking alone before, and you know where that led. The emptiness, the loneliness, the fear. It's not because you're weak, but because you lacked an anchor. I have been standing here waiting for your hand. Transformation doesn't begin from the outside, but from one quiet decision in the heart to trust me more than yourself. When you choose surrender, the heavens within you shift. Things around you may not change instantly, but your inner posture will. And from that peace, you will move forward in the strength that comes from my grace. So today, beloved one, try what you've rarely done before and trust something to me. Not everything, just one thing. One decision, one worry, one confused piece of your heart. Give it to me. And tomorrow, give me another piece. And you'll begin to see, the more you surrender, the stronger you stand. The more you trust, the lighter your heart. The more you step back, the further you'll go, not because you're capable, but because I'm leading you. Let your transformation begin not with effort, but with faith-filled surrender. For I, the Lord, do not forsake those who dare to trust in me. You may think surrender is losing control, but in truth, it's how you regain your freedom. You are weary not because you are weak, but because you've been striving for too long. Your exhaustion doesn't come just from work or people, it comes from always having to know, to plan, to hold it all together. But child, you were never created to be God of your own life. You were made to be guided, to be loved, to be sheltered. When you place yourself under my leadership, you don't become smaller, you become safe. And it's from that place of safety that you'll grow in the way you were truly meant to, not in the image the world demands of you, but in the full beauty of who I made you to be. Remember this, transformation does not begin with what you do, it begins with what you believe. Faith is not a fleeting emotion, but a choice. Every time you say, even though I don't understand, I still trust you, a shift is taking place within your soul. True and lasting change rarely comes with fanfare. It begins this way, quietly, steadily, and surrender. Don't be discouraged if you don't see immediate results. I am not slow. I am patiently changing you from the inside out, step by step, and I will not stop until the work is complete. My beloved child, perhaps you've grown accustomed to thinking that only when you're strong are you worthy of love, of healing. But I see the opposite. I see beauty in honest weakness, when you are no longer wearing a mask, no longer striving to keep it all together, and your true heart begins to show. Do you know that the very part of you you've tried hardest to hide is the first place I long to touch? Not your successes, not your accomplishments, but your wounds, your disappointments, the places you thought no one would want to come near. Because it is there where healing truly begins. I do not require you to be strong before you come to me. I do not sit on a throne waiting for your perfection before I draw near. On the contrary, I come to you when you are weakest, most broken, most confused. Because I am a father, and a true father always comes to the child who needs him, not the one who merely pretends to be fine. Once I told a faithful servant of mine, Paul, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 1:9. You see, even those strong in faith must learn how to be weak before me so I can complete something greater within them. Do you remember Naaman, the famous commander who had leprosy? He had power and status, but no one could heal him. Only a divine invitation through the prophet Elisha. When told to wash 7 times in the Jordan River, he became angry. He didn't want to humble himself, didn't want to confront the frail places within. But only when he obeyed, when he dared to touch the place he was most ashamed of, did the miracle happen. And today the same truth applies to you. True restoration only happens when you allow me into the places you've tried to avoid. Perhaps you're carrying wounds you've never spoken of, failures you haven't forgiven yourself for. Perhaps you've learned to live as though they don't exist, but the more deeply you bury them, the more power they have over you from within. You don't need to keep pretending. You need the courage to let me see clearly, and I promise my gaze will not bring shame. I do not look at you the way the world does. I do not fixate on faults. I see your capacity for restoration. Never think your pain drives me away. On the contrary, where you hurt most, I draw closest. Healing doesn't always come with noise. It's not a magical touch that makes everything disappear at once. It begins with a small step, a confession, a moment of stillness, the courage to cry. Each time you dare to be vulnerable before me, unmasked, unresisting you, give me permission to move, and you will see I do not abandon. I do not dismiss. I begin softening your heart, opening up the dry places, stitching together what has been torn, bit by bit, quietly, gently. My child, your weakness does not disqualify you. It is the very place where my grace longs to dwell. It is where you learn dependence, where you learn trust, where you allow me to do what you cannot. When you are strong, you are tempted to rely on yourself. But when you are weak, you learn how to rely on me. And in that dependence, you become stronger than ever. Do not fear what you cannot control, for I am in control of all things. Do not fear your limits, for in your limits, my limitless strength is revealed. So today, my beloved, if you are hurting, exhausted, broken, don't hide anymore. Bring it to me. Don't cover your weakness, lift it up. Don't run from it, let me step in. For from what seems like nothing, I will cause new life to spring forth. From the lowest place, I will raise you up. From the rejected part, I will craft a testimony of my great love. You are not broken beyond repair, you are in the process of being healed. And I, your Father, who loves you with unshakable love, will walk with you through every step of restoration. My precious one, I know you've believed that change must come with noise, clear evidence, something swift and visible. But child, true transformation often begins in silence, quiet, deep, and unannounced. Like a seed growing beneath the soil, unseen by anyone, your heart is being reshaped in stillness. You may feel like you're standing still, making no progress, but I am still at work. Not everything I do is loud. Often I choose silence, so your soul can learn to trust, not in what it sees, but in me. You've hoped your spiritual life would be full of emotion, full of dramatic shifts. And when you don't feel anything, you wonder, Lord, have you stopped working in me? But I say this to you, my silence is not absence. It is rich soil for something lasting to take root. Sometimes I keep you from seeing, so you learn to walk by faith, not by sight. For if all you needed came through feeling and seeing, you'd never know the true depth of belief. In the quiet, I am building your roots. You don't need to change the world in a day, you only need to change yourself one step at a time. And those small, steady, hidden changes will lead you into a new life. When you learn to forgive someone, when you choose patience one more time, when you pause to listen instead of argue, that is change. You don't need to announce it, I've already seen. I take note of every quiet decision that no one claps for. Heaven rejoices over every silent turning of your heart, for it is a sign of a soul maturing. There will be seasons in your life when everything feels quiet. That doesn't mean you've lost your way. The world measures success by speed and outcomes, but I measure it by depth. You may feel spiritually dry, don't be alarmed. Dryness is not a sign of death, it is the pause before the bloom. In that time I am digging deep, shaping you, expanding your soul's capacity, and in the right moment everything planted in secret will rise to the surface. So my child, don't despise your quiet progress. Just because you don't feel different today doesn't mean you aren't changing. Old wounds are healing, faith is growing, your heart is settling, and that is proof of true transformation. I don't need you to change loudly, I need you to change genuinely. You don't need to perform to be seen, I already know. I rejoice in what you quietly offer. To me, those offerings are worth more than 1,000 words. If you are in a silent season, don't be quick to run. Stay with me, breathe. Slow down, sit with me in stillness. Don't believe you must do something grand to sense my presence. Sometimes a whispered, "I trust you" in an empty room is the loudest declaration of faith. Sometimes simply choosing not to turn away is a big enough step. You are not stuck, you are growing deeper roots. And what grows deep will not be easily swept away. So be patient with yourself, my beloved. Don't measure your spiritual life by hustle. I am not demanding quick change. I am inviting lasting transformation. Each day just return to me, whether in weariness or in joy, in noise or in silence. That is a turning. And I will continue the work I began in you until the day it is complete. You don't need to feel strong. You only need to remain in me. Change will come not like a storm, but like the dawn, gentle yet unstoppable, my dearest child. There are days you wonder why you keep returning to the same old mistakes, the same old pain. You grow weary of yourself, disappointed in your weakness, and you judge yourself more harshly than I ever would. But I want you to know I am not surprised by your repetition. I am still here, unchanged. I do not look at you with frustration, but with patient, unwavering love. A love that does not reject, but gently leads out. I see the cycle, and I will not leave you trapped in it. You may have believed that this is just who I am or I can't change. But my child, that is a lie. There is nothing I cannot renew. No soul is destined to remain in darkness forever. The cycle is not your home, it's only a snare. And I, with steadfast love, am opening a way out. Not through force, but through a tender invitation. Follow me so you don't have to live like this anymore. I know you've tried to change by sheer willpower. You've set goals, made plans, and promised yourself to do better. But after a few days, you found yourself back in the same place. Then came the disappointment, the self-blame, the promises again, and the breaking again. But my dear child, willpower alone cannot break invisible chains. Only love can do that. You don't need to strive to be worthy of me. You need to remain in me to be transformed. And when you allow my love to saturate you, the old things will fall away, not because you force them to, but because you no longer need them to survive. There are cycles that stem from unhealed wounds. Negative attitudes, uncontrolled reactions, feelings of worthlessness, all have roots in places yet untouched. But I, the one who has loved you from the beginning, do not only heal the surface. I desire to enter the deepest place where it all began. I do not patch up, I recreate. You don't have to carry that wound for the rest of your life. You can let me lift it layer by layer through my gentle and powerful presence. And then you'll see what you thought was fate was really just an old shackle no one had yet removed. You don't need to fully understand the path in order to step out of the cycle. You only need to take one step, and I will walk with you. You may stumble, you may fall again, but that won't make me turn away. Every time you choose to step away from negative thinking, from familiar habits, from the fear that has long held you, you are partnering with me. And I, with unconditional love, will keep walking with you until you know what it means to truly be free. That freedom is not just about not doing wrong anymore. It is about living with a new mind, a new heart, and seeing yourself through the very eyes of my love. You may have once been buried under others' opinions. Maybe someone told you you'd never be good enough. Maybe you believed them. But my child, others' opinions do not define you. I do. And I have never created anything I cannot restore. I do not condemn you for the cycles you've been stuck in. I call you out of them, not through fear but through my steadfast love, the love that never grows weary. Believe this: every new day is a new beginning, and no day is ever too late to begin again. So today, my beloved, stop running and return. Not return to the old ways, but return to me, the one who has been patiently waiting for you. Let me take your hand and lead you out of the spiral you thought you'd never escape. Don't try to fix everything in one day. Just say to me, Lord, I don't want to live this way anymore. And then step by step I will guide you, heal you, reshape you into the image I created you to be, the image of a child who is free, beloved, and restored. My beloved child, I know there are days you don't feel loved, days when you're disappointed in yourself, when everything around you feels blurred and your heart is heavy with memories, old sins and wounds still unhealed. Sometimes you wonder, does God still love me after all I've done? I hear that question, not once but many times, deep in your heart. And today I want you to know this: my love for you does not shift with your past. It is not fragile like emotions, not fading with seasons. It is eternal. You may have done things you regret. You may have hurt others. You may have turned away from me. You may have broken what I had given you. But my child, I do not love you any less because of those things. I am not human. I do not judge as the world judges. My love is not based on performance, but on my very nature. I am love. And true love does not withdraw, does not demand, conditions, does not measure. I loved you before you even knew what regret was. You don't need to feel loved to know that you are loved. Emotions are fragile. They come and go, swayed by the day, the situation. But my love is the solid ground under your feet, unmoved by the wind. When you are weary, when you feel useless, when you feel unworthy, that love remains. Unfading, unwavering, unchanging. If you need proof, look to the cross. There is nothing more emotional than death, and nothing more certain than the love poured out for you there. I do not love a better version of you in the future. I do not love you after you've changed, after you've lived better, after you've grown stronger. I love you right here, right now, in all your mess and imperfection, not to leave you where you are, but to lead you into something new. I do not love you because you've become like me. I love you so that you can become like me. And through the whole journey, whether your steps are slow or misaligned, I never walk away. There may be times you think your present circumstances have separated you from me. Debts, failures, broken relationships, illness, depression, all make you think, surely God isn't near me anymore. But my child, I am not only in the sunshine, I am also in the storm. I am not afraid of your chaos. I do not retreat from the dust. I remain. In the dark room, in restless sleep, in the final sigh of the day, no circumstance, no matter how bad, can separate you from my love. Nothing, no one, no sin. I know your heart forgets easily. When you feel like a failure, you think I've given up. When others reject you, you think I've turned away. But I am not like that. My love is not reactive. It is proactive. I love you not because you loved me first. I came looking for you before you ever knew how to pray. I forgave you before you even realized you needed grace. And when you fall, I don't run away. I run toward you. My love does not wait for you to be enough. I come to you when you're still in the valley of doubt and ruin. So today, if you're wondering, does he still love me? The answer is yes. Not just still, but always and forever. Not because you are worthy, but because I cannot stop loving you. My love does not end where you fail. It does not break where you stumble. It is not dimmed by your dark emotions. It is the one thing on earth that does not change, no matter what else does. All you need is to turn back, open your heart, and believe that you are loved, not in part, but fully, deeply, and forever. My beloved, you don't need to do anything to hold on to, my love, because it has never left you. The love I have for you is not like the fleeting relationships of this world. It doesn't come and go. It doesn't depend on your moods or how well you're doing today. You may stumble, forget to pray, lose patience, or lash out, but I don't withdraw my love because of any of it. I do not change like people do. I am the one who never changes. If my love had limits, it could never have saved you. But because it doesn't today, you still hear me calling my child. I love you just as I did from the very beginning. You might think you've done something to disappoint me. But hear this from my heart. I have never once been surprised by you. I know you better than you know yourself. I see your past, present, and future, and I still choose to love. Not reluctantly, but with a deliberate, eternal choice. And I love you not because I ignore your flaws, but because I choose to see you through the lens of mercy. When I look at you, I see who you can become, not just who you've been. So if today you feel far from me, know this: I have never left. I am still here in your every breath, in the quiet light through the window, in a tear of repentance. Sit down, be still for a moment, and you will hear the familiar rhythm. It is my love calling you home, not with threats, not with condemnation, but with open arms, just like the day I first created you. That love is still waiting, still covering, and still enough to renew everything within you, no matter where you are. My beloved child, sometimes you look around and feel too small, too ordinary to make any real difference. You see yourself as just a faint dot among so many who are brighter, stronger, more capable. But I want you to know this: no one is accidental in my plan. Not a single life I create is extra. And you, with your name, your personality, your circumstances, even what you've called flaws, all have a place in a plan much greater than yourself. You don't need to be a leader, a preacher, or a public figure for me to use you. You only need to be yourself and be willing. You may think you have nothing to offer, but I see what you don't. A kind word, a timely hug, a quiet prayer. These are the threads I weave into my redemptive tapestry. There are parts of my plan that only you can fulfill. No one else can take your place. Because you were not created just to exist. You were created to impact. You don't need to understand the whole picture to play your part. Like a brick in a great house, though you don't see the full design, you still serve an essential role. You may not yet see what I am building, but every small act of faith, every choice to walk in truth, is clearing the way for something greater than you can imagine. Don't measure your worth by the size of your actions. Measure it by the heart of obedience. In my hands, even the smallest thing is used for eternal purposes. I do not only call the strong, I often choose the weak to reveal my strength. You don't need to be someone who has it all. I only need a heart that is surrendered. I once used a boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed thousands. I once used a widow to protect my prophet during a time of famine. And today I am inviting you to be part of a miracle. Don't wait until you feel worthy to begin. The very act of daring to believe in your insufficiency is already the first step on the journey to becoming the child I have destined you to be. You do not realize how your words, your actions, and even your presence can impact others. One small act of obedience today may plant the seed of salvation in someone's life. One steady step of faith through suffering may lead another to rediscover hope. You do not need to see the results right away. You only need to remain faithful. I am the one who sees the whole picture. I will connect, arrange, and fulfill what you cannot yet imagine. You are a living vessel, not a decoration. And as long as you still breathe your part in, my plan is still being written. You may be in a season where you feel lost, aimless. But my dear one, a step backward is not the end. It may be the moment I am rewriting the next chapter with clearer purpose. Don't let the emptiness deceive you into thinking you're useless. I am still working, still guiding, still shaping you for the destiny I ordained before time began. I do not write your story in erasable ink. I write it in faithfulness. And until your final breath, you remain an essential part of a redemption story far greater than yourself. So today, my beloved, believe that you are not invisible to me. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. Even when you cannot yet see what I am doing, remember, my plan does not require your full understanding for you to be included in it. All I need is your heart willing to say, "Here I am, Lord." And I, with hands full of mercy and wisdom, will place you in the right place at the right time and use you in ways you never imagined. You are a vital part of my story, a story still being written with unending love. My beloved child, I know you are longing for something clearer. A definitive answer, a sign from heaven to know that I am truly with you. I see you searching through circumstances in the words of others, in the unfolding events, hoping that somewhere I will speak. But child, not everything sacred comes in windstorms or blinding light. So often I choose to whisper, and the stirring in your heart is that very voice. Have you noticed as you read these words that something is gently stirring inside you? It's not the words or the style, but something familiar, like a call from the one you have known since the beginning. It's like an echo from the deepest part of your soul. I once said, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me." John 10:27. You are hearing me, not with your ears but with your heart. Not with your mind but with the mysterious resonance of your spirit. That is the sign. That is me. Do you know that in Buddhist teachings there is a concept called awakened mind? It's when a single thought arises softly yet powerfully enough to awaken a deeper part of you. I didn't lead you here just to read. I brought you here because something in you is ready to hear and to respond. Like the bodhisattva who returns out of compassion, I, full of mercy, have come to meet you right where you are. Not in form, but through a sacred stirring that lets your heart know. This is the moment. You once asked for a sign, but you were expecting something dramatic, something extraordinary. And yet I often come through the most ordinary things. A line of text, a silence, a sensation in the heart, too deep for words. My presence is not always loud. But when your heart is stirred, when tears fall without reason, when you suddenly feel like standing up and living again, that is when I am touching you. Don't wait for another sign. The fact that you are here listening is proof that I am calling you home. I heard you when you said, "If God wants me to change, let him give me a sign." I heard it even if you only whispered it in silence. And today what you are feeling, that unclear but powerful stirring, is my reply. You are not imagining it. You are not being vague. This is not coincidence. This is the moment, kairos, when divine time touches earthly life. You don't need anyone to confirm it. Your heart already knows. This stirring has not come to frighten you, it has come to awaken you. I do not shake you to scold, but to rouse you. Something inside you has been asleep for too long. Faith, dreams, hope, devotion. I want to awaken that. Not because I lack anything, but because you were created for something greater. And today I am saying to you, rise, step out of the old place. I am waiting for you. This stirring is the first touch of resurrection in your soul. So if you are trembling, if you are moved, if your heart aches for reasons you can't explain, it is not by chance. You asked for a sign, and now you are living in it. Not lightning from the sky, not thunder, but a quiet yet powerful voice. My child, I see you, and I am calling you home. Do not ignore what your heart already recognizes. Let this stirring become your response. Don't wait any longer, for I have never been far from you, and today I am inviting you into a new season, beginning from where you stand. And if you are wondering, so what should I do now, I say, just stay with me. No need to rush into something grand. No need to prove anything to anyone. Just let your heart soften before my love. That love is patient enough to wait for you every morning, strong enough to lift you every time you fall, wide enough to never let you go. I do not need you to be perfect, I need you to be real. For only when you are truly yourself can I do what is truly mine. Let the sign you've just received today become the first step. Not perfect, just honest. Whisper in your heart, even if just a simple word, "Here I am, Lord." That alone is enough for me to enter in, enough for light to begin shining into the place you thought was sealed shut. I never ask you to walk alone. Every step, every moment, I will be there. And what I begin in love, I will finish in faithfulness. So go now in peace, my beloved. Carry these words in your heart, I belong to you. And no matter what the world may say, no matter how circumstances may change, always remember, I am still who I am, and you are still my child. Forever and always. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this, you are not just an audience, you are chosen to live daily in the presence of God's Word. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any sacred message. Amen.